What it do, beloved? Indeed, it is that time once again. Verse number 7, chapter 11, book of Matthew. Yeah, you know. You already know. And as they departed, Jesus began to say unto the multitudes concerning John, what went ye out into the wilderness to see? A reed shaken in the wind? But what went ye out for to see? A man clothed in soft raiment? Behold, they that wear soft clothing are in kings' houses. But what went ye out for to see? A prophet? Yea, I say unto you, and more than a prophet. For this is he of whom it is written, behold, I send my messenger before thy face, which shall prepare thy way for thee. Verily I say unto you, among them that are born of women, there hath not risen a greater than John the Baptist. Notwithstanding that he, apologies for the diabolical reading here, but notwithstanding he that is least in the kingdom of heaven is greater than he. And from the days of John the Baptist until now, the kingdom of heaven suffereth violence, and the violent should take it by force. For all the prophets and the law prophesied until John. And if ye will receive it, this is Elias, which was for to come. He that hath ears to hear, let him hear. Dang, brother, I do apologize for not being able to read today. But dang, hey, this is dang, bro, this one's gonna hit heavy. I'm getting some heaviness off this. I'm getting some very forward speaking, some straight shake down, letting you know how it is. Just being 100. Yeah. So back in verse 7, right? And as they departed, so that is, I believe, John's disciples and possibly also Jesus' disciples. But Jesus turns to the multitudes concerning John. So the multitudes just saw, the disciples of John asking. Remember, they asked. They questioned. John questioned if Jesus truly is the Messiah. They all saw that, right? So Jesus, he's talking about John. He's like, man, using this as an opportunity, right? Because really it is crazy. And he even goes into how crazy it is that John would question him, right? He says, what went ye out into the wilderness to see? A reed shaken in the wind? a little baby back boy out there getting tossed about by the smallest gusts. A little kite getting thrown into the tree by the first wind that should come, huh? Like down at my park right now. What you mean, brother? You see the dang fence post that got blown over before I had a chance to set in the concrete? Man, what y'all went out there to see, man? What y'all went out there to see? A dang reed shaking in the wind? No. But what went ye out for to see? A man clothed in soft raiment? A soft boy? A soft boy? Oh, dang, brother. Bro, he called him soft. Bro. Oh my goodness. Jesus was the first one to call someone soft. I mean, dang. Maybe he calling them soft. Dang. That's crazy, bro. The dang creator of the universe just called you soft. Dang. That's crazy, bro. Bro, he's straight dogging him a little bit. He's straight talking it. He's letting him know. Bro, that's crazy. But you do notice he ain't judging, right? He's just because he knows he wasn't, right? He knows he wasn't soft. He knows he wasn't shaking in the wind, right? He's in prison right now. John is in prison, sitting in prison for his beliefs, sitting in prison for what he was preaching, right? I think possibly the first person to go to jail for Jesus, right? I don't know. But he's sitting there for what he believed in, right? So Jesus knows he ain't soft. He ain't a reed shaking in the wind. That's why he's asking. Yeah, did y'all go out to see it? Y'all go out to see a soft boy? Because it sounds an awful lot like he'd be like a little soft boy just came to me right now. Y'all go out to see a little soft boy. Y'all know this little soft boy that just came and asked and questioned me, question my authority. You know what I'm saying? Came and questioned on my movements, right? Y'all know this soft boy? Y'all go to see that soft man? Right? But he knows he wasn't soft. But it's interesting because, like he says he's not here to judge, right? But right here, he's questioning. He's like questioning. He's not judging, but he's questioning. He's like, yo, that sounds kind of soft. He's like, and he asks the people, he's like, do you know this man? Because the man I know, hard, reaming pipes with his pinky finger. Man, the man I know, he works 48 hours a day by lunchtime. He smokes 12 packs by breakfast. Man, a whole, he's tough, bro. He's hands, palm of hands. He'd be sanding down the dang roughest of wooden beams. He can sand the bark off a tree just by clapping on it, man. That's how that's the dude I know, right? That's the man that I know. Y'all ever met this soft boy? Y'all go out to see this soft boy? Because I went out to see, dang, hardest on the block, Not judging, but also questioning. This really you? Because hey, bro, maybe it's my fault. Maybe I'm the one that didn't know what it was. Maybe I'm the one. Maybe I'm tripping right now. This really you? I don't know. That's an interesting way, right? I think. Ain't thought about it like that. Brother. Behold, they that wear soft clothing are in kings' houses, not in the desert, not on the block. On the block, we wearing dicky fits, whole suited. That's that hard material, man. The king's houses, they get to wear that silk, the dang silk underwear, bro. That soft stuff, I hear, man, we got the trues and J's on, man. Maybe got a polo. What you mean, bro? The king's house, that's where they got the red bottoms and dang puffy pants. Don't even talk to me. Behold, they that, but what went ye out for to see a prophet? Yea, I say unto you, behold, I send. Oh, hold up. Dang, bro, I ain't reading right today. But what went ye out for to see? A prophet? Yea, I say unto you, and more than a prophet. Man, this man was him. Bro, he says, yea, I say unto you, more than a prophet, for this is he of whom it was written. It is written. Behold, I send my messenger before thy face, which shall prepare thy way for thee. So he wasn't just a prophet. They had prophets, They had the people that, talked to God. They got Jeremiah, Isaiah, uh, all the prophets. Those are the two most, big boys, big heavies, right? But they've had the prophets, right? And guess what they did to the prophets? They killed them. They didn't listen to them. They had the people that God spoke through to them, right? He had the people that were genuinely warlocks of God that went and fought against the dang, cults of Baal and stuff, like dang, straight up, bro, crazy warriors of God, right? By themselves, solo dolo, ain't have nobody else, them against everyone, but they got, right? Straight warriors, right? They've had prophets. This was something different. John was one of one. The prophets, they were typically by themselves. They didn't really have many people that they didn't have nobody, right? For the most part. They were the prophet, right? But, there's many prophets. John, he was one of one. He was more than just a prophet, right? He was there to prepare the way for the only one, right? The dang biggest, like John, obviously, yes, one of one, but he's a human, right? He's a normal soul, right? He had a one of one job, but he was still human. He wasn't a one of one human. He just had a one of one job, right? Preparing the way for the true one of one. You know what I'm saying? The true immaculate conception, right? The true Son of God, right? Regardless, though, John had one of one job that no one else had, right? And yeah, that was just to prepare the way. So he has a very prestigious role, right? And Jesus is talking about this, right? He's saying, yo, y'all went out to see a prophet. Nah, he's more than a prophet, right? For this is he of whom it is written, behold, I send a messenger before thy face, which shall prepare thy way for thee, right? So John, he's like talking him up, right? He's asking him, he's like, yo, y'all didn't go out to see some little soft boy, right? Y'all went out to see, y'all didn't go out to see someone getting pushover, right? No, y'all went to go see a prophet, right? Well, he was even more than that. He's been prophesied, right? He's not only a prophet, he's been prophesied for years, for thousands of years, for 1,000 years or something. I don't know, a long period of time. Y'all have been hearing about this man. This man has been written about, right? Y'all been reading about this man. This is him, right? He's talking him up. He's letting him know who he really is, really putting the weight, really putting into perspective who this guy was, right? This man, right? Continuing, verily I say unto you, among them that are born of women, there hath not risen a greater than John the Baptist. Notwithstanding, he that is least in the kingdom of heaven is greater than he, right? So, men born of women, so humans born of normal conception, right? He's the greatest. He's saying he's the greatest of all time, right? This is creator of everything, telling everyone that you are the greatest of all time, right? The best, the one to ever do it, right? And when he says notwithstanding, he's talking about, so like, your soul, when you're going to heaven, after you die, least in the kingdom of heaven, we're out of our bodies, we're shedding this mortal coil type, right? Going to heaven, into being transfigured, being, transformed into a brand new, brighter, sinless being. I think either way, far greater than anything we could be here, right? I think that's what he's saying, right? That's what I understand as, right? But he's saying here on earth, John is the greatest, right? John, and the reason he's talking about all this is because John just questioned him, right? Even the greatest to ever do it, okay, still had doubts, still wasn't faithful forever. And bro, go back and read about the prophets, right? Go back and read about David and the kings, right? Go back, read about the judges. Go back, read about Moses and Abraham. Go back, read about all of them, right? They do some crazy stuff. And it really don't talk too much about John. But those dang your whole books dedicated to these other men, right? Who apparently can't even hold a candle to John. This man is the greatest to ever do it. That's straight out the words of Jesus, straight out the mouth of Jesus, right? That holds a lot of weight. And he's spent like this, past couple of verses really, really allowing you to understand the vastness, the true weight of these words, right? Letting you know this is the greatest of all time. And even him is having difficulties, is losing faith, is stumbling, right? So if even the greatest of all time, right, said by Jesus, like gotta let you know, like really, really drive that in your head. You got to think about that. Creator of everything, has seen everything, has been around for everything, right? Knows everything, right? Lived a perfect life, died for our sins, saved us, right? Did all this stuff. This is him, right? This is him saying that this dude, greatest of all time, saying the dude that just stumbled, just questioned his actual existence, his actual reality, his actual authority, just question, right, is the greatest of all time. So even the greatest of all time, if you think that you are stumbling, right, if you think that you're having a tough time, if you think you're failing God, right, guess what? Even the greatest of all time failed. Even the greatest of all time lost faith, stumbled, doubted, right? So if even the greatest stumbles, I mean, bruh, like dude, and again, if you look at all these other people and he's the greatest, and which doesn't talk too much about him, but you look at these other people, like, dang, bro, like bro, you can't expect yourself. God ain't expecting you to be the greatest. He's expecting you to do your best and to love him with all your heart, and to, do your best. I mean, he's still saying, how great he is, right? He's still got love for him, right? You just gotta, like, bro, yeah. And because if you expect yourself to be perfect, like, one, that defeats the whole purpose of Christ, right? And two, you're only going to just make yourself live in pain, right? And live in depression and live in, not living up to expectations, right? And God's seemingly, from what I understand, God's expectation is that you love him and follow him with all your heart, right? Do everything you can to do your best. Put your best foot forward. Always have that top of your head, right? And guess what? You're going to fail. You're going to stumble. You're going to doubt. But at the end of the day, what matters is that you come back and can, end of the day, sit with God, right? Talk to God. Bring those issues up with God, right? Talk to him about it. Let him be your confidant in those tough times when you feel like you failing, right? When you feel like you didn't do your best, right? Let him know. Because obviously you want to do your best, but you ain't gonna, right? That's the thing. Always want to do your best, right? It's a complicated thing, right? So we've got a lot to say about it, but at the end of the day, you should always be wanting to do your best. Your heart should always want to be living for God, right? Living for the Lord, right? And yeah, bro, just know he ain't gonna be like, he ain't gonna just immediately strike you down with lightning or whatever the first time you know, accidentally fall back on something that you were trying to quit, right? It doesn't seem that's what he expects, right? And I think this was in here for a reason, is, to let you know, like, yo, even the goat ain't gonna make it without God, right? Much less, your boy, right? So yeah, that was interesting. And finish it out here, right? And from the days of John the Baptist until now, the kingdom of heaven suffereth violence, and the violent take it by force. For all the prophets and the law prophesied until John. And if you will receive it, this is Elias, which was for to come. He that hath ears to hear, let him hear. Right? So, so from the days of John Baptist, right, we gonna get bodied to the end, right? We gonna have to fight to the end, right? Before John the Baptist, there wasn't really any pushback on Christ, because Christ and then the way to be saved wasn't a thing, right? Now, after Jesus was killed, right, John, I think, was the first, and that's why, right? So even before Jesus died on the cross, John was killed for Christ, right? John was seemingly the first martyr for Christ, I think. He was in prison at this time, and then he gets his head cut off. I don't know if it was necessarily because of Christ. It was because he told Herod he can't have relations with his niece, I think. So his niece wanted his head chopped off. But I mean, it wasn't that would probably be like some teachings of Christ. I don't know. Either way, John was killed. And then it says, after the time of John the Baptist until now, the kingdom of heaven suffereth violence, right? So the violent take it by force. So, the ways of the world, the armies of the world, they be attacking us, right? They be on it, right? You got to know that. We warriors, we soldiers, we love it. We love people and stuff, but we still soldiers, right? For the kingdom of heaven, obviously. For all the prophets and the law prophesied until John. Yeah, so the prophets, prophesying until John. So there's not going to be any more prophecies, I don't think, other than, the apostles. I guess there's still prophecies and stuff, right? Like revelations and stuff. And so I'm not entirely sure what that means. For all the prophets and the law prophesied until John, until John. That wouldn't, you would assume that means like there's no more prophecies, but I'm not entirely sure. I might have to restart tomorrow on verse 12. I'll see. And if you will receive it, this is Elias, which was for to come, right? He that hath ears to hear, let him hear. My ears are not hearing right now, so I'm going to have to come back at this with some fresh eyes. Starting on verse 12, right? I think the main message of this day, right? When you stumble, just remember that even the greatest ate it, right? Even the greatest fell all the way down. You know what I'm saying? Just go to God with it, right? Talk to God about it, right? That's why you develop a relationship with God. Talk to God about it, brother. Yeah, appreciate y'all. Love y'all. Ask the Father. Bless you. In Jesus' name, amen.